RiverBender.com.
Snowbird, take me with you when you go to that land of gentle breezes where the peaceful waters flow. Spread your tiny wings and fly away, and take the snow back with you where it came from home that day. The one I love forever is
The time is 10:18. On this 20th day of March, we are less than 2 weeks away from Election Day. And I know, Mayor McCormick, the last time we were on, we were already ready for April 1st, and now we're even more ready for April 1st.
I can't wait.
How are you doing today?
I think I'm doing good. You know, it's been a kind of a stressful campaign, and I'm just ready for it to be over with.
Well, and, you know, on top of that, too, it's one thing to run, I think, as somebody who's not in office, because you got a little bit more time to do things. You have a little bit more flexibility. But when you're, mayor, or you're in any government position, city business, village business comes first, and then your campaign has to come second.
That's exactly right. You know, the first time I ran for mayor, which was quite a few years ago, I had the time to actually go door to door.
Right.
And right now, I only got weekends to do that. And you don't want to do it. My wife and I decided Sunday's not a good day to do that. Mm-mm. And so that leaves Saturday. But thank goodness my wife has been walking during the week and handing out pamphlets and putting pamphlets indoors and really putting an effort into this campaign because she realizes how important it is.
Well, and that's a really good thing for you to bring up, too, I think, and just recognize her efforts. And one thing I wanted to ask you, and this is my takeaway, are people coming to the doors as much? Because from what I've been talking to, it seems like not a lot of people compared to elections in the past are even answering their doors no more.
She's saying that she's leaving material at doors that are not being answered, but she's not sure if it's because they're not there because it's a weekday.
Right.
Yes.
That's what I was wondering, and I've been talking to multiple candidates about this just because it's kind of fascinating to hear their insights on it as they're going door to door. Mm-hmm. Well, before we dive into this campaign or anything, let's just go back to when it first started. Let's go back to Mayor McCormick, first day in office after your swearing in. What do you remember about being in office that first day? Do you remember your thought? Is it, wow, I'm finally here, or is it, where do we start?
That is exactly right. I'm glad you asked that question. Well, the first day in office, all they left us were the keys to the door. And the first thing I did was have the locks changed. And so basically, we started from scratch, not knowing what we're doing. Mm-hmm. But thankfully, I had a pretty good crew because most everybody under the previous administration, I didn't get rid of. I didn't necessarily fire, but they all quit.
Right.
And so it was pretty tough the first few months, but we never missed a payment. We never missed a payroll, which, we didn't know how to do that.
Right.
So we had to learn it. Fortunately, the accountant at that time was a lot of help as far as the financial part of it. But everything else, we had to just stumble our way through. And it probably took us a good 4 to 5 months to really get a good, firm feel on everything.
Whenever things started to smooth out for you in that first, couple of months, what was, whenever you're looking at that and you're getting the train moving, when did you really start to feel comfortable in your first term? Was it after you started realizing, in that 6 months, hey, we're getting everything caught up or we're getting everything done on time? Or did it take a couple of years in your first term for a project to start for you to go, you know what, I'm actually getting things accomplished that I wanted to do?
I agree. At that time, we hired, we didn't have a full-time engineer. Mm-hmm. We contracted our engineering services out.
Oh, okay.
And so I was involved in most of the state grants that we would get. Once a year, all the counties, all communities in St. Clair County and Madison County go to IDOT to apply for these STP grants. And Godfrey's been very fortunate. We've learned how to put together the proper paperwork, the proper dollar amount on a project, and we've been very successful. And now that we have a full-time engineer, it's even working better. And a lot of the road projects that you see in our community have been paid for by the state and the county. Whenever the state gives us a grant, our community, or the city of Alton, or any community that's in Madison County puts some money in on that same project, which is very beneficial to all the communities. But the Village of Godfrey's been very, very lucky and very, very benefited by these grants, and we had to start from scratch. The first time I went over to IDOT, I didn't have a clue what was going on, but the people at IDOT basically took me under their wing and walked me through the process.
Well, that's why I love having these longer conversations, because to hear your learning process and hear, just a little bit of what it took to kind of get to that point is really fascinating to me. When you were first in office, what were the challenges at the time, all those years ago, that the village was facing?
Hiring a good crew to begin with.
Right? No, it's a good point.
You hear it all the time, but it's as true as can be. You're as good as the people you surround yourself with. And we've gone through different people, different positions, and I think right now, based upon the knowledge I've gained through the years, the Village of Godfrey is served by some pretty good people.
Well, and with that being said too, as we're getting back into the present day and this campaign and the state of the races, we're a couple of weeks out. What is your thoughts just on your team in these last this last term for you? If you could grade yourself, what would you give your team on just their work ethic and some of the things that you guys were able to do together?
I'd have to give them an A.
Good answer. There you go.
I mean, I would have to give. Yeah. I'll give you a prime example. Since I've been mayor, not once when we had a snowfall, I don't care if it's 2 a.m. on a Sunday morning or 4 a.m. on a Saturday morning, we call these guys out to come out. Not once have any of them called off.
Wow.
And that's saying a lot.
It is.
And I hear it all the time. People bragging about our public works guys and their ability to take care of the streets when we have a snowfall. And this last big 12-inch snowfall was a prime example of that.
That was a lot of snow.
That was a lot of snow. Yes.
Well, and going forward too, and bringing up the snow, this was a couple of years ago, but I remember something about when you guys were purchasing salt. And it could have been 10 years ago now, because I can't remember what I had for breakfast. But was there an issue at one point in time where not an issue, but you guys bought salt at the right time and you had like a surplus and were saving? I couldn't remember how it worked in the paper, but I've been thinking about this for like 3 or 4 weeks now.
Jim Lewis is responsible for that.
Okay.
And but we talk. We get it through Madison County, so we get a break. Madison County helps all the communities, and that way you order. It's kind of like
bulk.
Yeah, bulk. The bigger bulk, and you get a better price. And so you got to give them how much tons you want in the spring of the next year coming up, so they can order it. And just the opposite of what you said. One year, I can't remember how many years ago. I do remember what I had for breakfast.
It's better than I'm doing, Mayor.
But we were running short, and we were really having trouble finding some salt.
Oh, okay.
And I think that was the issue you were thinking about. This was like 7 years ago.
Okay.
And the county was out of salt. So we had to search, and we found some, and we had to pay more money than we wanted to, but we had to have it.
Right.
Because we got to keep the streets open, and so kids can get to school, people can get to work, and yeah, that's been my goal ever since I've been mayor. I always tell Jim Lewis, let's always err on the side of safety.
Yep.
You know, if we got a bad storm coming, let's pre-treat. If we don't have the storm, that's all right, because we were going to be ready anyway. But a lot of times, 9 times out of 10, we're right when we pre-treat.
Well, and see, I'm glad you brought, and you're right. That's exactly what I was thinking of. Was that 7 years ago situation? But you're right when it comes to the preparedness of storms, because you guys do get a lot of different types of weather, and with you guys being somewhat rural, I'm sure it gets a little bit tougher on deciding where that exit point is for the major cornerstones of traffic and which roads get hit first, because you guys have a lot of terrain to cover.
Yes, we do. We got a lot of roads to cover. And, we're not, I'll tell you the roads we're not responsible in the village of Godfrey. We're not responsible for Godfrey Road. That's an IDOT road. Okay. Delmar's is a IDOT road. Hubbard Road is a Madison County road. Don't ask me why, but it is. Airport Road's in Madison County.
Okay.
That's the 2 roads.
Makes sense.
The rest of the roads in the village of Godfrey we're responsible for. And to just salt the village of Godfrey, our 7 guys, the whole village takes about 2 hours.
Wow.
And now when you go to plow it, it probably takes about 3 hours for them to do their routes. And they got their routes down perfect. Jim Lewis is always ready to get them in at the right time, and we try to work ahead of the storms and be prepared. And I think that's why I'd put our 7th Street guys up against any public works anywhere. You can we get compliments all the time on the streets. We get a lot of complaints because people can't get to their mailbox. But when you got a 12-inch snow,
what can you do?
What are you doing? Right. What are you doing with the snow? But we try to go around the next day and the day after and move that snow. Some people get their mail not delivered for a day or maybe 2 days, but we're always working on trying to open up that.
Well, and before we take our first break, because we'll take 3 breaks, I wanted to ask you this, because you've had a couple of times to continue on as mayor as you have new trustees entering, office. What's that transitionary period like for an incumbent mayor whenever you have newer trustees coming in that are learning the way and the workings of local government?
Sometimes it's difficult. I think I was a trustee myself, and probably the first year and a half or 2 years, I just tried to sit back and listen, and I think that's advisable. If you got an opinion on something, then you need to speak up, even though you're trying to learn, and sometimes the transition it's never been terrible, but sometimes it's a little bit difficult. But there hasn't been a trustee in the whole time that I've been in this position that I couldn't work with.
That's a really big testament too, and a really good statement, I think, for everyone to make.
Even though some of their thoughts I didn't agree with, I tried to push for a happy medium.
Right. And with that being said, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back with part 2 with a 3-part little break series here with the Mayor of Godfrey. We've already been starting this conversation. I'm just getting to know Mayor McCormick a little bit more in those first couple of years as mayor. And when we come back, we'll talk about some of the current issues facing the Village of Godfrey, some of the current news stories as well. And we'll keep having more conversations on this Thursday morning after this.
Oh no, another bad headache?
Yeah.
Maybe it's time to see your doctor.
OSF Healthcare can handle all of your family's primary care needs, including diagnosing health issues or referring you to a specialist. Schedule an appointment today.
No matter the season, Play It Again Sports in Edwardsville has the gear the athletes need to get in the game. Whether you're shopping for the newest sports equipment or saving money on quality used gear, Play It Again Sports carries what you need to maximize performance to get the most out of every swing, kick, stroke, or shot. We'll even buy your used goods, paying cash on the spot. We carry all the gear for all the sports all year long. We're your hometown sporting goods store. Play It Again Sports, conveniently located at 4 Club Center Court in Edwardsville.
Yo, what up? It's Mike Keith, the proud graduate of Lewis and Clark Community College. I got my start in broadcasting and now I work all over the country. I discovered my path in media, but I could have been an electrician. Or I could have been a nurse.
Maybe not.
Get paid to go solar.
We're not solar bros. At Grid, we're solar pros. We explain the process behind solar power so you can make an informed decision. We'll work with you to make owning your power as simple as possible and affordable with zero down financing and payment options. Our only goal is to save you money. Call Grid when you're ready to be independent of the power company.
Looking for the best barbecue in Madison County? Head over to Carver's Barbecue in Godfrey, Illinois. From loaded barbecue nachos to mouth-watering pulled pork, brisket, ribs, and more, Carver's serves up award-winning flavors you'll love. Family-owned, Carver's is all about fresh, made in-house dishes served daily. Come visit us at 2716 Groveland in Godfrey, or give us a call at 618-467-9999. Order online, get it catered, or stop by for the best smoked meats around. Where great flavors meet family tradition, you'll find Carver's Barbecue.
Since 1993, Sparks Junk Removal is always adapting to the needs of our clients. That is why we now offer weekly trash pickup for selected areas. Plus, we offer driveway-safe rubber-tired dumpster rental. Give us a call today at 618-781-1407 or visit us at sparksjunkremoval.net.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
Welcome back. The time is 10:36 on this Thursday morning, the 20th day of March. Back with Mayor McCormick. And wanted to talk with you just about a couple of things that are hitting the news cycle as of late. The first one being the parking ordinance on your own. I guess you can't leave your vehicle parked in your grass for more than 48 hours.
That's the ordinance that was passed and unanimously voted by the trustees, but that's not how it got there. Our zoning department, we're getting a lot of complaints on it. Mm-hmm. And people came to the village and said, why can't we do like the city of Alton and have an ordinance against that? So it went to our zoning board, which is a separate board from the village board, and it passed unanimously there. And then it went to the Godfrey Village Board this past week as an ordinance and got passed unanimously. And now, from my understanding, which I don't do Facebook, it's blowing up on Facebook.
A little bit. A little bit.
And I would think 95% of the people that live in the village of Godfrey are in favor of this. But it's typical Facebook stuff. Just a few people comment on it, and the only people that really comment on Facebook, to my knowledge, are the people that are negative about something. Mm-hmm. And I don't think it's government overreach
Okay.
It's just trying to keep your community nice. Godfrey's a nice community, well-maintained community, and I think that's the elected officials, the trustees, myself. That's our job to keep it that way, and that's how that came about, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. And then the other thing that was being discussed too was the no-knock solicitors registry.
Who could be against that?
Right. No, and just your thoughts on how long was this going to be? How long was this talked about? Was this something you wanted to do as a village for some time?
No, it came about just recently.
Okay.
But there's so much solicitors.
Yes.
And they got to get permits from the village of Godfrey to solicit. Mm-hmm. And if the residents out there have a solicitor and they don't have a badge, ask them if they got a permit. And if they don't, call Madison County Sheriff's Department, they'll take care of it. But the ones that come to our office, each one of the solicitors, Lieutenant Weller at Madison County, he's our chief deputy to the village of Godfrey. He does a semi kind of background check on them before they get the permit. And so with this fiber optic and all this stuff.
Right.
They're getting overwhelmed.
They are, yeah.
They're getting overwhelmed. So we came up with the idea to have that no-knock solicitors, and all people have to do is call up to the clerk's office and have their name added to this. Then when this guy comes in and gets a permit to solicit, they'll be handed this no-knock list. And I think that was... it was needed, and I think it's going to be well used.
And and with that being said, and I think the public's going to appreciate that too. I don't think soliciting's a partisan issue.
Yes.
But more developments on
unless you're a politician.
That's with that too. There was more expansion work being done in Godfrey as well. Just a couple of weeks ago, I know that there's more talk about expanding some roads near. Is it Pearl?
No, it's Stamper.
Stamper. Okay, so expanding Stamper Lane out a little bit?
This has been in the works for a long time,
okay.
But once again, we had to work with IDOT to get it done. And our thought there is continue Stamper on the other side of Godfrey Road, just 300 feet back in there. So all that land behind McDonald's, between McDonald's and the old Owens, Illinois plant back there, won't become landlocked. And that's why we're doing it for the future.
Right.
Planning for the future on that.
Wow.
And the actual property owners of that, where Halloran Auto used to be, have promised us that they're going to put 2 businesses in there. I'm not sure what businesses they're going to put in there. We've limited them. Not going to put a Dollar General there. Because their company's famous for putting in Dollar Generals.
Right. But
we already got a Dollar General at Monticello Plaza, and we were afraid they might move that and rebuild it over there. And so we put a stop to that. We're hoping they bring in a nice business that'll bring good retail tax money to the village of Godfrey. Because the village of Godfrey primarily runs off of retail tax.
Okay.
And interest we're making off the money we got in the bank.
Right.
That's how we can keep our property tax so low. We got the lowest tax levy in Madison County. Less than 2% of people's property tax bill comes to the village of Godfrey. That's less than 2%, which is, to me, something I'm very proud of.
Well, I'd be using that number too, and really just great for the public to know a little bit about where that falls in line in terms of other cities and municipalities throughout Madison County. Well, and Mayor, on top of that, it seemed like the last couple of weeks you guys have had some busier trustee meetings and some busier board meetings as a whole, and also the Peachy Paws daycare.
Yes.
Or dog care. I don't know what the proper term of it is, but it's
doggy daycare.
Doggy daycare. Okay. That's going to be starting here shortly, correct?
Correct.
What are your thoughts on this?
A young lady who already has a business in Godfrey, and she's wanting to expand, and she's taken a derelict piece of property, and she's going to redo it and put a nice business in there, and I'm much in favor of that. As I'm much in favor of, hopefully tomorrow or Monday, we're going to start putting together the dog park out in Glazebrook Park.
Oh, wow.
The equipment came yesterday that we were waiting on. The parts to the puzzle we were waiting on came yesterday. So we're hoping to get started on actual construction of it tomorrow or Monday at the latest.
That's exciting.
That is exciting.
Yeah.
Because we just recently had a groundbreaking, which I think since I've been mayor, our park board, off and on for years, people coming wanting a dog park.
Right.
And
Right.
Godfrey's finally in the position that we're getting it.
Well, and speaking of parks, it goes ahead and segues into that other thought is this conversation we keep hearing about a recplex or a rec center. What are your thoughts, just on the structure and if this is feasible for the village?
Actually, at this time, I don't know if it's feasible because of the cost. And I didn't realize the cost was going to be what it is.
Right.
And actually, I'm the one that brought it up. And it's just like video gaming.
Right.
When we passed the video gaming, we came back and said, okay, the money we get off of video gaming, let's dedicate that towards our parks. And so the Village of Godfrey, it's been a problem for a while. If you got a kid in your basketball program and you have to drive him to East Elementary, that's out of the Village of Godfrey.
Right.
If you got two kids in it, you have to drive one kid to East Elementary and the other kid to North Elementary. That's even more of a problem. And that's been bouncing around in my head for a while. And then when I found out we were going to actually open up a marijuana store, I remember what the mayor of Collinsville told me when they opened one up there, how much money they were getting off of it.
Right.
And the mayor of Fairview Heights was telling me how much money they were getting. And I thought, wow. So one night at a meeting, I said we should take the money from that and try to build a gym. And so we actually put a committee together. And they did the figuring, and to do just a modest one was going to cost $15 million. And the Village of Godfrey is actually making some pretty good money off of the sale of marijuana in our community.
Well, I'm sure, yeah.
But not enough to pay $15 million. So there's a need for it, but we have to find a source of money to pay for it without raising people's taxes. And which means we got to find grants. And we got a great grant writer that works for us. Our engineer's doing a wonderful job writing grants. Rich Barons, and the thoughts there, the desire there. Hopefully, someday we will see that in the Village of Godfrey.
Well, and that's great for the public to know a little bit more about, the kind of the process that you had and just where your thoughts are now with it. And then before we take our next break here, I want to ask your thoughts just on, continuing business development going forward. Where do you see Alton or where do you see Godfrey's economic future and the commercial future? Is it in sports tourism? Is it in commercial development? Is it in residential home? Where do you really see Godfrey's niche going?
All of those.
Really?
Resident. People say, "Why don't you get a Chick-fil-A? Why don't you get a Chipotle's?" Mm-hmm. We don't have enough rooftops.
Right.
And so you got to have more houses built.
True.
Got to have more rooftops. But with our population, I think there's been nice development in the village of Godfrey. We've tried to maintain that on Godfrey Road, out on Delbar. Right now, we're trying to complete the Lars Hoffman crossing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, can I bring up the elephant in the room?
Please do.
Comprehensive plan.
Oh, I'm telling you, that word is just going to drive me nuts.
At the farm, I could hear the moan in the audience when somebody would mention that, but right now we're still in the land acquisition, or the county is, in the land acquisition of property, and there's quite a few roadblocks.
Yeah.
And so I think our economic development director, Jim Baker, and myself both agree it's going to be hard to put together a comprehensive plan without the knowledge of if you're going to have the Lars Hoffman. And until that's in place, how could anybody come in and give you a fair opinion on that?
Mm-hmm.
And as far as the comprehensive plan we have in place right now, I think it's a very good plan. And it was put together by Jim Mager, and he had different people come in. I mean, he had a whole bunch of people on his committee, but they had meetings with the people in their 20s, they had meetings with people in their 30s, they had meetings with people in their 40s, and they put this together. And, you know, I'm happy with it. And, you know, Jim Mager taught business at SIU Edwardsville.
Right.
He probably taught some of these people that work at these companies at one time or another if they went to SIU, because of all the different classes he taught under the business label.
Right.
So I think the comprehensive plan is good for now. Yes, we need one in the future, but let's get the whole picture put together before we spend the money on it. And that's the last time I'm mentioned it.
We'll take a quick break and we'll come back with part 3 of our hour-long conversation with Mayor McCormick of Godfrey. You stay there. We'll stay here in the studio on Roku TV and RiverBender.com.
Get access to care for anyone, anywhere, at any time. No appointments, no waiting rooms, no traveling. OSF on call.
Village Dispensary has the best deals in Godfrey, Illinois, with specials 5 days a week. Mondays, roll in the week with 20 to 30% off select pre-rolls. Tasty Tuesdays, enjoy 20 to 30% off select edibles. Waxy Wednesdays, enjoy 20 to 30% off select concentrate and vape brands. Thirsty Thursdays, sip and save with 20 to 30% off all drinks. Flower Friday, grab like 3.5 gram flower deals starting at just $20. Village Dispensary, come meet your best buds.
Picture This and More has been a trusted name in the Alton community for more than 30 years, with the last 3 being right here on Broadway. We specialize in quality framing at affordable prices. We also feature works by local artists because we're proud of our community. If you have valued treasures to display and preserve, we're sure to have the perfect fit with our large selection of custom framing and display options. Whatever color, shape, or size, Picture This and More has the look you need. Stop by today and let us help you with your next project.
Looking for the best barbecue in Madison County? Head over to Carver's Barbecue in Godfrey, Illinois. From loaded barbecue nachos to mouth-watering pulled pork, brisket, ribs, and more, Carver's serves up award-winning flavors you'll love. Family-owned, Carver's is all about fresh, made in-house dishes served daily. Come visit us at 2716 Groveland in Godfrey, or give us a call at 618-467-9999. Order online, get it catered, or stop by for the best smoked meats around. Where great flavors meet family tradition, you'll find Carver's Barbecue.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
Welcome back to Our Daily Show. The time is 10:55. A little bit of change. Final 20 minutes with the Mayor of Godfrey, Mike McCormick. Mayor McCormick, great to, seriously, thank you for coming in the studio for an hour. And really, I just like having these extended conversations because I'm not going to lie, I saw Joe Rogan do them this last time around, and I thought how beneficial to really get to know somebody from more than just the question and answers of 45-second sound bites. And one thing I wanted to ask you, and this is something that's been talked about a little bit, is, you know, we saw kind of in the Telegraph had an article a little bit about your mobility, your mobility. And I wanted to ask you, is that, an issue for you? Is everything, how do you feel going into this?
Well, I have neuropathy in my legs, and I use a walker. I mean, for quite a few years, I was using a cane. And I guess about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, a good friend of mine, who's 101 years old, most of the community knows Art Williams.
Yeah.
I mean, he's my buddy.
Yep.
We sit together at Rotary every Monday night. We have Rotary. And he said to me one night, Mike, you're going to have to eat some pride. He said, that cane is good, but if you go to fall, it's not going to... Yeah. He says, you need to get a walker, eat your pride, and get the walker. And I did. And it's really, it's helped me.
Right.
And, unfortunately, I have neuropathy. Like my doctor, Dr. Holscher, says, you got to play the hand you're dealt. And I'm playing the hand I dealt, trying to do the best I can. I won't be running any races. I'm very popular in bear hunts because I'm the slowest guy.
I'm sorry. Good point.
Good point. But I don't think it affects my ability to be the mayor of the village of Godfrey. And, seriously, you can't buy the knowledge, the experience that I have doing the job.
Well, and that's why, I didn't want anyone at home to think, CJ's bringing up a hot... It's just, something that was brought up, and I feel like it's only fair for you to, have your floor to say whatever you wanted about that. And thanks for sharing that, too, for the folks that maybe are curious. And going forward, what are you most proud of, or what are you looking to do these next, 4 years if you're elected again on April 1st?
Grow the village of Godfrey slowly with a little bit more retail, paying sales tax to the village of Godfrey. See some expansions in our subdivisions, more houses being built. I like to see completion of the Lars Hoffman crossing, which we talked about earlier. I want to be around to see the completion of the Woodman bike path.
When's that expected?
hopefully we're going to start on the rest of it next summer, probably. Okay. I'm hoping.
Okay.
And it's beautiful. I mean, I've been on it. Of course, I had to take a golf cart ride on it. I recommend that people go out, take a walk. It's beautiful back there. Yeah. It's an engineering feat, too. The curves, the hills, the coastal, it's remarkable. But I want to see the completion of that, and I want to continue the process of taking oil and chip roads and turn them to asphalt. Over the last 6 to 7 years, we've done at least 60 roads to that.
Wow.
And but that requires the money coming in from the state. Our motor fuel tax money is what pays for that. And I want to continue that. And I think I already mentioned I want to keep the taxes down or maybe even reduce the tax levy even a little bit more.
How could you do that?
Just having more money.
Oh, okay. I don't know how that works.
When I first ran for mayor, I made a commitment. One of my commitments when I first ran for mayor was to replace property tax with sales tax.
Okay.
And we have done that, and the sales tax has actually grown a lot more than we've reduced the tax levy, but I don't have the votes for that. Every time I bring it up, I don't have the votes to get it done. But every time we pass the levy, I always say, can we reduce this a little bit? If you do it a little bit at a time.
Right. It makes sense. It really does.
And that's what we did that for 7 years. We did a little bit at a time. Mm-hmm. And we're not suffering from it.
It makes sense. And one thing I wanted to ask you, because this was actually asked of me to ask the mayoral candidates in Godfrey, and it's not really a big hot topic issue. It's just something that's topical, and we're already here now, and why not? You see some of these communities that are going for this, some, not all community, but like some type of community solar agreement in some way, shape, or form. And it could be for like their park lights. It could be for some type of industrial or their commercial properties that store equipment. But someone asked me, one of the listeners, about neighborhoods and some of them being a little bit not as well lit as and welcoming for families that are walking at night. And, this is such an off-topic question, but I figured why not ask it? Is there any way that you guys as a village could reconfigure in some way the lighted areas of, the more family-esque neighborhoods and subdivisions like a DeAdrian or, like a River Air that sometimes, doesn't have a lot of street lights for, the kids. And that's just something that was asked for me, and I didn't know if that's even possible because the roads are already there and you already have that infrastructure in place too.
I think... Sounds like you're asking two questions.
It's kind of a two-parter because it's, number one, can you even put lights in these neighborhoods to light them up? And the second part is, could you cover the cost of those with a solar array program or something similar?
That might work, but who wants those solar panels in their backyard?
Right, that's a good point.
That's the problem we're running into.
Yeah.
And as far as street lights, the Village of Godfrey, and I'm not sure if it's controlled by ordinance, but since I've been mayor and even when I was a trustee, we'll put a street light at the entrance of a subdivision. And we spend a lot of money on those all throughout the Village of Godfrey. Mm-hmm. And if somebody wants one in their neighborhood, the cost of it's not that much. Amber won't charge you to put it up. And, 4 or 5 neighbors could get together and pay for that.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
See, and that's actually great for because I had someone ask me, and I thought, why not ask that question? Yeah. That's pretty valid.
But your thought of if there was a solar farm somewhere that could be dedicated just for that, I don't know if that...
Okay.
It could possibly work. I can't answer that because I don't know, to be honest.
Well, it's not very often a politician tells me that too. Well, and Mayor McCormick, as you're looking back too, because I'm sure that every once in a while you have to look back at being a business owner, and you added Emo's and Ralph's, and now you find yourself as the mayor of Godfrey. What's that thought look like? Did you ever imagine that you'd be in any type of political form?
No. In fact, we had that conversation with Carol McAfee.
Oh, did you?
She came off the air here earlier, and then there was somebody in between us, and we both worked for Owens, Illinois for a while. Mm-hmm. I worked for Owens, Illinois for a long time. I worked for McDonnell Douglas for a while, and that's when I decided I wanted to go into business for myself, and I opened the Emo's. It was a long thing. That's a whole, I could take up an hour here talking about it. But anyway, I opened up Emo's. And I was getting ready to sell Emo's. And I almost on a weekly basis, Gary Ayers and Mike Walters served on the Madison County Board. Mm-hmm. They would eat in there at least once a week. The two of them will meet and eat there. And Gary Ayers said, I'm not going to run again. You ought to consider running for trustee. And I think even Steve Stobbs got involved in that conversation. And they talked me into running for trustee. I had no clue what I was doing. And I actually did quite well in that election. And the night I did get elected, the same people said, you need to get in there and work that job and run for mayor. And I thought that was an impossible task. But then also my attorney, who had previously been the village attorney, told me that Jim Sinclair said, Mike, you need to learn that job and run for mayor. And so I worked pretty hard as a trustee. I'd probably go into the building at least 3 days for an hour or so, go all the departments, trying to learn. And then 4 years later, I ran for mayor, worked very hard at it. My family worked very hard at it, and knocked on a lot of doors. And going back to the original statement I made earlier, it was a lot easier when you didn't have a job and you could... Because I'd already sold Emo's. I was set for playing golf every day and enjoying retirement. And I was getting bored. I wasn't getting bored with golf. But once I got elected mayor and started going in there and learning what I was doing and feeling some of those results, golf just kind of slid away from me. And I wish I would have discovered this kind of a job earlier in my life, because I've gotten so much enjoyment out of it. I don't dread going into work every morning. I look forward to going into work every morning.
Well, and that's fascinating. It's just really cool to hear how you kind of became mayor. I mean, it starts from two guys having lunch every day. They get you to run for trustee, and then all of a sudden it takes off from there. Mm-hmm. That's really, as you're looking back just at this what are you the most proud of? Is it, and maybe just let's look at your whole entire tenure as mayor. What are you the most proud of? Is it the property tax levy or the property tax rate? What has done it for you that you go, that's what I'm most proud of?
I can't put my finger on what I'm most proud of. There's a lot of things I'm proud of. Mm-hmm. But one of the things that really makes me feel good deep inside when I drive down Stamper Road and see kids playing baseball, adults playing pickleball, kids playing soccer, the lights on. When I first became mayor, there was none of that stuff there. None of it. Our whole thing was the baseball diamonds that are owned by Lewis and Clark Community College across the street. That and keeping reducing the property tax. I'm very proud of that. And I also, nobody talks about it, but I did away with a taxing body. It was I that led the charge on doing away with Godfrey Township, which was another line on people's property tax bill. And yes, those are three of the things I think.
Mm-hmm. Well, and Mayor McCormick, before we take our final break and we'll come back with your final thought, is there anything else that we haven't talked about that you want to take some time to address today before we come back with your closing statement?
No, CJ, I think you've done a pretty good job of opening it up and leading me into hitting some good topics here, and I think I'm good.
Good. Well, we'll take a quick break, and we'll come back with Mayor McCormick's final thoughts for our State of the Race coverage as that keeps going closer and closer to April the 1st. It's 11:07 on this 20th day of March. More Daily Show next.
Hey, would you drop by the pharmacy? My doctor switched my cholesterol medication.
Yeah, will do, honey. I'm glad he's looking out for you.
OSF Healthcare can handle all of your family's primary care needs, including managing chronic conditions. Schedule an appointment today.
What are you doing?
We did our home insurance ourselves, but don't feel protected.
So you're building your own American Family Insurance roof line?
Yeah, life's better when you're protected under American Family's roof.
That's not how it works.
Dad, go, it's gonna hit.
See, that's how it works.
For real protection, save up to 23% by bundling your home and auto with us.
With over 20 years of experience, Wilson's Tree Service has the expertise to handle all of your tree care needs. Licensed and fully insured, their team of experts are dedicated to providing reliable service. Plus, with a 24-hour emergency service line, Wilson's will always be there for you. Don't risk tackling that timber by yourself. Trust the local professionals at Wilson's Tree Service. Visit treeservicealtonil.org to get started today.
No matter the season, Play It Again Sports in Edwardsville has the gear the athletes need to get in the game. Whether you're shopping for the newest sports equipment or saving money on quality used gear, Play It Again Sports carries what you need to maximize performance to get the most out of every swing, kick, stroke, or shot. We'll even buy your used goods, paying cash on the spot. We carry all the gear for all the sports all year long. We're your hometown sporting goods store. Play It Again Sports, conveniently located at 4 Club Center Court in Edwardsville. Picture This and More has been a trusted name in the Alton community for more than 30 years, with the last 3 being right here on Broadway. We specialize in quality framing at affordable prices. We also feature works by local artists because we're proud of our community. If you have valued treasures to display and preserve, we're sure to have the perfect fit with our large selection of custom framing and display options. Whatever color, shape, or size, Picture This and More has the look you need. Stop by today and let us help you with your next project.
Village Dispensary has the best deals in Godfrey, Illinois with specials 5 days a week. Mondays roll in the week with 20 to 30% off select pre-rolls. Tasty Tuesdays, enjoy 20 to 30% off select edibles. Waxy Wednesdays, enjoy 20 to 30% off select concentrate and vape brands. Thirsty Thursdays, sip and save with 20 to 30% off all drinks. Flower Friday, grab like 3.5 gram flower deals starting at just $20. Village Dispensary, come meet your best buds.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
Sharing horizons that are new to us, watching the signs along the way, talking it over, just the two of us.
Welcome back to Our Daily Show, 11:11, Make-A-Wish. Mayor McCormick back in the studio for our couple of minutes left here. You know, we haven't. I kind of left out one of the bigger issues or topics, not issues, is the roundabout that's getting ready to commence. Just your thoughts on it?
It's probably going to start in 26.
Oh, 26?
Yes. There's a group of people out there that want to blame me for the roundabout. But it's actually an IDOT project. I do admit I wrote a letter of support back in 2009 when I first became mayor, because IDOT came to me and said, would you write a letter of support? Mm-hmm. And, you know, I travel around, and I've seen a lot of roundabouts. I grew up in Belleville. They got the square there. In fact, when you take driver's ed, that's the first thing you do. They take you up, you drive the square around. And even here, you know, Alton High, the circle up there, they keep building them because they work. So I wrote this letter of support So I guess I bought in on it at that time. But then when they had the meeting to show it all, which it shocked me as much as it shocked everybody else there, that they were going to shut down traffic totally for at least a year. Wow. And I said, the next morning, I was at Amy Elick's office, meeting with Amy Elick, Senator Harris, State Rep C.D. Davidsmeyer, and I said, we can't have this. And they went to IDOT. We met with Joe Monroe. It's going to take them a little bit longer to do the project, but there will be continual traffic through there. People won't have to detour around. In fact, when it gets to the point where they take the stoplights out, I think traffic will even move faster through there. And they keep building them all over the country, all over the world. It's because they work. And I think Godfrey's very lucky that the state's willing to spend lots of money in the village of Godfrey. That eventually, once people get used to them, they're going to love them.
Yeah. Well, and Mayor McCormick, before I let you go, when are you having an election night party?
Yes, at the Sportsman's Club, as I did 4 years ago. And I'm a member of the Sportsman's Club, and they've been very supportive, and everybody's welcome to come. I hope I have something to celebrate that night.
And before I let you go, just your closing thoughts for the public and the voters of Godfrey before we say goodbye for now.
Most municipal elections, not enough people vote. Mm-hmm. People need to get out and vote. You have control over. And a municipal election is more important to you than a national election. You could go to your mayor, you could go to your trustees or aldermen, whoever we're talking about, and you have somebody to reach out to that talk to one-on-one. And more things in your life are controlled by the local government. People need to get out and vote. Mm-hmm. And I hope the people of Godfrey get out and vote for me. And I'm asking them for their vote.
Well, and Mayor McCormick, thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you.
We're out of time. I will see you back here live at 9 a.m. for more State of the Race coverage on RiverBender.com. Until then, have a great day. Vote April 1st and try your best to stay out of jail.